What a final day of the season we have got in the Championship. Yes guys, and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and today's video is my final day predictions of the Championship. Of course, the Championship concludes tomorrow, 12:30, Saturday lunchtime. Of course, we have still got some massive games down at the top, playoffs, and down at the bottom of the division, of course. Of course, the one things that are for certain, Leicester are up. They are champions. Of course, they've guaranteed the title on Monday following their 3-0 win away at Deepdale. Of course, Rotherham have been relegated ages ago. Huddersfield are pretty much all but down, but however, they still slimly have a chance, but you never know. You never know, eh? But of course, let's get straight into it. No nonsense. Smash the like, subscribe, get notifications on, and let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first game doesn't mean really anything. I'm going to start with Swansea versus Millwall. A pretty dull game, I say. And to be fair for Millwall, what a disappointing season they've had, really. If you look at it, of course, I did the final day review of last season's Championship where it was nearly everything was sealed apart from the last 2 playoff spots, I think it was. Or was it the last playoff? Or was it the last playoffs? Or was it for 6th? I don't really know. But, of course, Sunderland got there, of course. And obviously, Millwall cruelly missed out. Swansea, again, another disappointing season for the Swans. However, though, under Luke Williamson, of course, the former Notts County manager, of course, what's happened to his old club, by the way, this season? Who knows? Who knows? Who wants a season review, of some clubs? But at the Liberty, I'm going to back a Swansea to end off in a high. I'm going to say a 2-0 Swansea win. Swansea win, I think. So, yeah. So, of course, I'm going to do all this in one clip video, because why not? So the next game is relegated Rotherham against Cardiff City, and Cardiff came up with a 4-0 battering of Middlesbrough last weekend. And of course, earlier in the season, there were strong shouts of Cardiff being in the playoffs. Well, not predictions-wise, because I think most people said, even me, I said that Cardiff would go down at the start of the season, which I got horribly wrong, by the way. And I hold my hands up, by the way. I did say that Cardiff would go down. I ended up proving me wrong. However, though, they currently sit 12th, which isn't bad considering Cardiff, to be fair. They nearly just about beat the drop last year. Rotherham, yeah, they're down. And I don't think Steve Evans will have his second reign as manager off with a good start. Well, obviously, once League One hits, he'll be fresh then, and I think Rotherham will, yeah. I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Cardiff. So in the next game, it is Stoke City versus Bristol City. To be fair to Stoke, they have been alright the last few games, haven't they? And in all fairness, though, I generally thought Stoke around 2-3 weeks ago, I generally thought Stoke could have been really in the mix to at least be in the battle to avoid relegation, which to be fair they have done under Stephen Schumacher, former Plymouth Argyle manager, who actually started this season at Plymouth Argyle, of course, and we'll get on to Plymouth later on in the video. Bristol City, Anthony King, obviously, he has announced his retirement from football. What a legend he is, of course. Guiding Leicester to the Premier League title. He was there when they were in League One. It's been a mad career for him. And I think he ends on a high. And I'm going to say Bristol City to get a 2-0 away win. So the next game, it is Middlesbrough versus Watford. I generally think Middlesbrough have left their form too late, I think, for playoffs. However, though, they did get to the EFL Cup semis, which is good for Borough, actually, considering playoffs and EFL Cup semis, Carabao Cup semis, is okay. To be fair, though, what makes it disappointing, considering Middlesbrough, they were 4th. They were 4th last year. They were 4th. And to be fair, though, they had to play Coventry like 3 times in like 7 days or something like that, because twice in the playoffs and then once in the final day of last season, of course. I think Chuba lack of goals has really hurt them a bit. Well, I'm not saying because he hadn't scored any goals, because obviously he wasn't there, of course. Losing him was absolutely damaging. And what's even stupidity of me, I said that Middlesbrough would win the league. I said Borough would go on and win the thing, because I thought they would carry on from the form that they were in last season and improve on their heartbreak in the playoffs. But no, they didn't do that. And to be fair, there were injuries to key players. Lottie laughed, to be fair. Watched him against Leeds like 2 weeks ago, and I thought, to be fair, even though I didn't watch the second half of that game, I thought Borough weren't that bad actually against Leeds. But Leeds were just too strong. Watford, what the hell? Another turmoil at Vicarage Road again. It always is at Vicarage Road, because Tom Cleverley is now, I think, their 11th permanent manager in 10 years. In 11 years, or 10 years, whatever it is. It's absolutely extraordinary how a club like Watford can sack managers for fun. It's a joke. It's a joke. If they want to get promoted to the Premier League, give the manager time. I get it. Say last season, for instance, like a Rob Edwards. You sacked him and he guided your biggest rivals up to the Premier League. Up to the Premier League. That's Little Luton, your biggest rivals. He got them up to the Premier League and you decided to sack him despite him being good. It doesn't make sense, Watford. I'm going to say, yeah, my prediction, I'm going to say a 3-0 Middlesbrough win. Sorry. So the next and the final game that doesn't really mean anything, and actually I'll do the big games in a separate clip as well, is FA Cup semi-finalist Coventry against Queen's Park Rangers. QPR, what a disappointment you've had as well, by the way. Shame on you, QPR. And to be fair, right, I think it was around January or something like January, February, there were actually fears of QPR even being relegated, because they weren't even doing that well this year, QPR. And considering they sacked Gareth Ainsworth at the start of the season, and to be fair to their new manager, let me get his name up now. Marty Chivinus, I can't say his name. I'm sorry to all the Spanish QPR fans out there. He's done well for him, to be fair. And to be fair, with the squad that they've got, they shouldn't even be nowhere near be bottom half, let alone near that 20th or 19th, wherever they are. So it's absolutely criminal for QPR. Well, yes, I get it, right? They're nowhere near automatic promotion, nowhere near. But I mean, say around, I think 6th to 10th is about the expectation, I think, for QPR. But for Coventry, of course, sadly heartbreak against United in the FA Cup. Absolutely gutting stuff for them, man. But obviously playoffs are gone now. If they would have win their games in hand, and to be fair though, they were playing Ipswich on Tuesday, who themselves, yeah, we need no introduction for them. But I'm gonna think. I remember watching the M69 derby on the opening day against Leicester. I thought they weren't that bad, and there were signs of thinking Coventry could actually get to the playoffs back to back and actually go one further than last season and get promoted. But no, I think Coventry are going to end on a high. I'm going to say a narrow 1-0 win for Cov. Of course, now we move on to the games that actually does matter. So the first game of that, it is relegation threatened Birmingham City as they take on the Canaries Norwich City, who themselves are chasing a playoff spot. Now here it is, Birmingham City. After 12 years of being in the top two divisions, they could be in the third tier for the first time since 1992, I think. 92 or 93. It's been a turmoil what's going on at Birmingham. And to be fair, John Eustace, right, who was their manager at the start, they sacked him when they were like 5th in the league. They were in the playoffs when Tom Brady decided to sack him, appoint Wayne Rooney, who won 2 in 20 league games, and took them all up down to 20th. And yes, to be fair to Tony Mowbray, right, he actually hasn't done that bad, to be fair to him. But obviously with his medical condition, of course, obviously health comes first, obviously. But Gary Rowett, to be fair, he hasn't had that much time to be with the squad or anything like that. He hasn't much time to do some training drills. Basically, but Blues are in a mess, mate. And sadly, to be honest, as much as I love Birmingham, and to be fair though, I do love Birmingham and Villa, as a neutral, by the way, considering I absolutely love the rivalry between the two clubs, by the way. And how weird is this? Aston Villa, yes, I know they lost last night to Olympiacos, but they could be in the Champions League while Birmingham could be in League One. The massive gap there is right now between Aston Villa and Birmingham is a joke. Well, Norwich, you know what? This season actually has been good for Norwich, to be fair. However, though, in December they were like 17th or something like that, and there were fans saying Wagner out. Give him time, lads. And look what you've done. They're 6th in the league. And yes, I know their form recently, since they beat Ipswich at Carrow Road, hasn't been great. Really. But I do think that, sadly, I think Birmingham will be relegated. And I think Norwich will get a 2-0 away win. And Norwich, they will finish 5th. And they will be in the playoffs. So the next game, it is the champions Leicester against Blackburn Rovers. Are you thinking, why does this matter? Well, Blackburn can mathematically still go down. So for them to go down, do we need them to lose, Blues and Plymouth to win, and Sheffield Wednesday to at least get a draw, which could happen actually. Well, the Blues, I don't think will happen, I don't think. But Plymouth, maybe. Wednesday, I think they definitely will get something from Sunderland. But I'll get onto that in a minute. But Leicester, huge congratulations, lads. You're back in the Premier League, where you belong. However, I think Blackburn will lose. However, I do think results elsewhere will go their way, apart from Sheffield Wednesday. So I'm going to say a 2-0 win for Blackburn. No, not 2-0 win for Blackburn, sorry. 2-0 win for Leicester, but I think Blackburn will still be safe because of results elsewhere. So now we move on to the next game at Home Park, which is Plymouth Argyle against Hull City. And now, Hull City, they've actually have been very, very impressive this year. Fabio Carvalho on loan from Liverpool has been very good. Tom Greaves particularly as well. He's been fantastic. Liam Rosenior probably... I know there was big questions about why was he being nominated for Manager of the Season. I think he's been up there for me. Because Hull City, to be fair, they've actually been really, really consistent. Yeah, I know consistently they haven't been great over the last few games. But with them beating Coventry, which was absolutely massive for them, by the way, away from home as well, and gives them a real chance, and with West Brom and Norwich keep them dropping points, it gives them a really good chance to get to the playoffs. Plymouth, being down the relegation candidates, it was expected, really. But however, though, they're literally clinging on, aren't they? It's like you're in a mountain, right? You say you're watching, I don't know, say like an Indiana Jones film or something like that, right? And you're literally like clinging on by the narrowest of margins. That's what it's like at Plymouth at the moment. However, I'm gonna say Hull to win. I think Birmingham. No, not Birmingham. I think Hull City are gonna win 3-1. But because of Birmingham losing, because I predicted Birmingham to lose their game, I think Plymouth will still somehow, by narrowest of margins, will stay in the Championship. It is mental to think. And now move on to the next game, which is, of course, speaking of Sheffield Wednesday, it is Sunderland against Sheffield Wednesday at the Stadium of Light. Sheffield Wednesday, over the last 5 games, they have been the informed team in the Championship, winning by I think 4 out of the last 5 games, or something like that. Oh, 5 out of the last 5. So they're unbeaten in quite a while. I don't think Wednesday have lost in the last. Wednesday haven't lost in the last couple of games, which is good. Danny Roll's team are on a roll. Way! You get the joke. You know what? Sunderland this season have been very poor. Disappointing that is, by the way. Wednesday, being down there was really expected, but I do think I think they'll beat Sunderland, mate. I'm gonna say a 2-0 win away from home for Sheffield Wednesday. And I think the Owls will stay up, and we will get the Steel City derby next season between Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday. What a game that's going to be, by the way. Ooh. Now let's move on to the last game involving the playoff chasing teams. That is West Bromwich Albion against Preston North End. Hull City fans, you would absolutely pray for me to predict a Preston win, so West Brom will not make the playoffs. At the Hawthorns, I think West Brom will do enough, I think. I'm going to say a 2-0 win for the Baggies, and I think it will be Norwich, Southampton, and Norwich, Southampton guaranteed in the playoffs. But let's find out who will West Brom face in the playoffs. So now let's move on to the two teams who are chasing the last automatic promotion spot to the Premier League. And of course, I'm going to predict them at the same time. Leeds versus Southampton at Ellen Road. Ipswich Town against Huddersfield Town at Portman Road. Leeds simply have to win. They have to win and pray that Ipswich lose. But don't get me wrong. If you would have said to an Ipswich fan 4 years ago that they'd be 1 point away from the Premier League, considering 12 months ago they were in League One. They were in League One 12 months ago, and they could be in the Premier League for the first time since 2002. Huddersfield, we don't really need to speak about them much, considering they're all booked down. Southampton, on the other hand, what the hell's happened to them boys? Not been good. And to be fair though, a few weeks ago, when Leicester, Ipswich and Leeds all kept slipping up, Southampton, to be fair, they kept their slimmest chance alive. But I felt like the game at Ipswich on Easter Monday had really knocked their chances off. Not the game a few weeks ago against Leicester, 2 weeks ago against Leicester, or 3 weeks ago against Leicester. But I think last Tuesday, I think it was. I can't really remember now. But yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to say Leeds to win their game. I'm going to say Leeds United 2, Southampton 1. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Ipswich will batter Huddersfield 4-0. And Ipswich Town, they will be promoted back to the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. What a story. Well, that's the end of the video. I'm sorry if this was rushed, because I've literally now got to go back to watch Barnsley versus Bolton, for God's sake, in the playoffs. In the League One playoffs. Come on, you whites. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below who of our Ipswich or Leeds is getting promoted, who's getting playoffs, who's getting relegated. Comment down below. I'd like to have a discussion. Thank you for watching this video. Love, peace, and attackers.